Hi everybody, so today we're going to be looking at the Digimon version 2, the English one. Just got released recently in Australia and I've just picked my one up. So I love the translucentness on these ones, like the colours are very pretty compared to the original releases. And of course I picked up the blue one, as you can see here. So today I wanted to customize it because I'm not a huge fan of these orange buttons. Each to their own, but they're not my favorite thing. But the thing is, I don't have the parts. I could have bought the yellow one, and I could have swapped out the buttons, but I had to be difficult. So today we're going to see if I can use old parts from an old Digimon device to see if we can swap those buttons out and see the compatibility between the original Digimon V-Pats and the new Digimon V-Pats. Obviously, there's quite a few differences, and we'll discover those ones today. So, just so that you know, if anyone does this and breaks their device, that's on you. I'm just doing this on my own. I do come into a few issues with taking this apart, so if you want to take it apart, just be aware that you could break it. I knew that I could possibly break this one, so I almost did. It's a fun time. Also, the one I'll be using today to customize it with, it's a broken device, so don't stress about the parts. The device doesn't work. It's just an old one I picked up a long time ago. The screen no longer works. It's a dead device. So yeah, just going through, just showing you guys it works at the current moment, and hopefully at the end it'll still be working. But yeah, no, loving this blue. Definitely loving the blue on this color. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to set up my workshop, my little space for taking these things apart. Make sure your desk is really clean. I'll show you shortly how I normally take mine apart. I like to keep mine pretty organized on my table. But yeah, first of all, obviously take the battery out, and then all 4 screws in the corner. So here we go. This is my strange method of organization for screws. I just like to use some masking tape, and I like to tape this to the table, and then I like to put my screws on top of it so they don't roll away. You can use an ice cube tray or anything like that if you want to. I mean, each to their own. I just prefer to do it this way. I don't know why. It's just something I came up with a few times after taking these few apart. But yeah, we'll start with the corner screws. And obviously the battery beforehand. So obviously this is a little bit sped up. Not tons, but yeah. But yeah, the Digimon version 20th has got to be the easiest one to take apart in my opinion. If you wanted to do straight shell swaps with other Digimon version 20ths, I'd recommend it. It's probably a really easy modification to do. Again, you just have to watch out for any kind of problems here. Also, just make note of where everything is. Make sure you know where everything goes. So you can see the screws are different sizes too, and they're different colors in this one, which makes it a lot easier compared to the original one. Now, this is where I come into an issue. You may or may not come into this issue, but this screw, this particular screw, I had issues getting out of the board. It must have already been stripped, or it might have, I'm not exactly sure why it got so stuck. But I do eventually get it out. You just have to be a little bit patient, so don't get too frustrated. You might need to bring out some other tools. I eventually managed to get it out just by using my hands. I had to do it off camera. I'm sure you'll get around to it there, but you can see me struggling here. It is slowly coming out, but yeah, this is one of those things that can happen. So once I took this apart, I'm not taking it apart ever again after I fix this up. So yeah, you can see it there. And here I go. I got the screw out. It looks like it might have been glued in possibly, so I'm not sure, but I got it out. But yeah, for testing purposes, I won't be putting that one back in later straight away. So yeah, really easy to take this board out. makes things easier to swap around. Just make sure with this part you know which direction it comes in if it falls off. Mine didn't, but it's there. So here we are, that's the front housing and the buttons and the screen. They come right out really easy. Okay, so I like to just poke through, I don't know what to call this part, the little cage at the front. It comes right out. It's a lot easier on the original version. It does come out, but I don't like to rip it off with my hands, otherwise I don't want to break this piece. It is kind of fragile. If you see a bunch of really old ones, you'll see that it's broken. But yeah, it pops right out. It's pretty easy, just a little bit of wiggling. I use just a flathead. I'm just having another look at this screen here. You can do customizations if you need to with the piece, but I'm not going to. And this is my little digital pet graveyard. I have a few in there. They're pretty old, but those no longer work, so they're just spare parts now. So this is is it a version 2 red Digivice or virtual pet? And yeah, it no longer works. It's been broken for a few years now. So we're just going to do the same on this one. It's pretty easy. Same thing, take the back cover off, take any batteries out if possible, or if you have them in there, I mean. Let's go straight for the corner pieces. It's like now when taking this one apart, there is a wire, so just be careful if you are using a working device. I mean, it wouldn't really matter if I broke this one, but yeah. And there's only 2 screws, I think. Yeah, 2 screws holding in the back plate. So yeah, we'll be testing the compatibility with the front plate and the buttons, hopefully. See how these go. So yeah, I put everything back together a little bit later, just to keep the parts, you know, functional for any other possible modifications in the future. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm going for a blue and white theme. It's my dream device right here. So first thing I notice is these aren't quite exactly gonna fit in the new device. Very similar on the front, but on the back you can see that they are sculpted differently, so they won't quite fit. Now with some modification of like some clipping, you could probably make this fit. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to, you know, be breaking a piece and then have a piece not possibly working when I could possibly use it for a future modification. And same with these buttons, very similar. The orange ones actually have, I feel like, better contact on the buttons. It might just be because they're newer though. So yeah, they are slightly different as well. If you see when we flip them over on the front, just that reset button. That reset button is a little bit different from the new one. You can see there's that little dimple and the orange one's flush. So yeah, we are going to test the white ones. I have washed these buttons after taking them out of the vise, so in between this and the last step I did wash them and dry them out. Now for testing, I'm not going to put in all the screws. Remember, one of them would not come out, so we're not going to put that one in until last and we confirm it's working. So yeah, let's see if this works. Hopefully it should. So just put 2 screws into the back just so it's going. So yeah, I would always test your devices before you put them all the way back together. It's a lot of work otherwise. Yeah, good old beep. We're ready to go. And the buttons work, which is awesome. So if you wanted to use the old buttons from any old device, say you have a broken one, or you just really like the color of one, because the buttons are kind of hard to get in different colors, yeah, you can swap the buttons out. They are slightly different, but they do work. We'll get around to what I'm going to do with the frame later. But yeah, now we're going to put it back together. So put that last pesky screw in, and then put all the other stuff in. Now don't do what I did. Don't forget to put the keyring in. I remembered halfway through I had to unscrew those last 2 screws and put that keyring back in. So yep, there's that. So yeah, put everything back in, get it all working. So yeah, I could stop here and just put it like that, but yeah, let's put that old digital pad away as well. So I'm going to paint the frame. So I'm going to use some surface primer. I have an airbrush, but you can just use a rattle can. Just make sure you prime it first. I didn't sand mine down. You probably should. But it's such a small piece, and I did some testing. It was fine. So I did wash it first to make sure there's any residue off the piece from the molding process. Something you learn in hobbying and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I use some grape surface primer. The surface primer color you would use would depend on what color paint you're going. So you could do black if you're going to go a metallic color. So if you wanted to do, say, a silver, you would use a black primer. I'm just using a grey one because we're going to use a pearl white to finish this one off, because I do want that white finish. And since I have the pearl white, we're going to go sparkly too. Okay, so my pearl white is in a rattle can or spray can. I'm using the Tamiya, I think it's pearl white. Yeah, pearl white Tamiya. So I'm just going to do this outside. So same with the primer. You just want to do some short spurts, and you want to do a few coats after letting it dry. So I actually did 3 coats of white to get the white I have that you'll see in the final product. So I did 1 coat of primer and then 3 coats of pearl white over time. You want to do a bunch of light coats compared to 1 heavy coat, otherwise it will just get clunky and you don't want that. It won't look good. So if you want to get a clean paint job, just do a bunch of thin layers until you're happy with it. So yeah, here I'll show her off in a second, but here's my pretty cat. This is Sunny. So yeah, this is how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I had just got like either fully transparent on both or fully opaque, like thick on both. But yeah, what can you do? It still looks really good. So yeah, that's all for today. I may panel line this in the future. I'll do a video on that if I do. But yeah, if you like this video, it's like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. And yeah, this is it for today. But yeah, if you want to customize, show me some photos. It's like, hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to see your customizations. Nothing better than a good digital pet customization. And hopefully you don't break it along the way. Alright, have a good one, guys. See ya.